Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the daily market update show. And this is where I break down techno analysis of the market QQQ and SPY, as well as a couple other big tech stocks. And we will be looking at support and resistance today, as well as what I'm looking for later into this week. All right, let's get started. So I'm looking at the 15-minute time frame. And today essentially is one of those days where you just go outside and enjoy the sun because nothing really happened today. We gapped down and we just went completely sideways. And you can see the reason that I didn't take a lot of trades today is because once we gapped down, there was not a lot of upside or downside anymore. We pretty much double bottom exactly at the low of yesterday for QQQ. And when we can't break the low of yesterday, there's going to be not much going down in the downside. And upside is also limited too because market participants are waiting for CPI data tomorrow. And you can see tomorrow our CPI data is going to be this side is the prior data, and this side is the estimates that we will be likely seeing tomorrow. So if we get an upside to the estimates, then market will obviously be dropping. And if we get a downside to these size CPI data, meaning there will be less inflation, we'll get more upsides. And that will be 8:30 EST. So that'll be 5:30 PST pre-market, before 1 hour before the market opens. And on Thursday, we also have another inflation data, which is the PPI, and that's the core. Usually, the Fed looks at the core a little bit more. So we get these two in the next 2 days, and essentially that is what I think we had one of the lowest volumes I have seen in forever. You can see look at this candle, how low it is volume down here. You can see all the way. We had never had something this low, maybe like back here, and back all the way to 2021 December when we are like close to the all-time highs. But yeah, so we've been going sideways. I think market is a little bit tired. Bull, either if you're a bull or a bear, you've just been getting chopped up in every side. It just completely sideways range. It's that 320 and 312 range that we've been talking about forever. And so what I'm looking at right now is QQQ is still in a very no flags on this chart. So QQQ is still winning for the bulls. You can say we have been down from this bottom and it's consolidation at the top. So it's good for the bulls. But there's also arguments of SPY looking not as good as QQQ. I'm just going to go to a different chart so you can see more clearly. SPY here. So yeah, SPY, we have not gone our daily uptrend. Now we are just in a tightening range. We can have a double bottom down here, and now we're just tightening up. So if we get a bearish reaction to CPI tomorrow and then break this low, we have a confirmed daily downtrend. And if that happens, QQQ is not going to go anywhere. QQQ is not going to break its double top. QQQ broke. Where's my QQQ? QQQ did break when we were talking about it yesterday, where QQQ broke above its prior highs. QQQ broke above this high, which is on Monday, last Monday, over here, with not a lot of fall through. But you have to look at the futures chart, where it's the NASDAQ of QQQ. We have a double top here. So that was why I mentioned yesterday that we didn't want to go too bullish, even though we did break above the prior high. But the futures chart NASDAQ, which has more price actions, did not. It is a double. You can call it quadruple top pretty much. This four. It's just a resistance zone. And so if we don't get over that, I'm not going to be going on long position unless we drop to a buy zone, which we have not yet. And we are still in a pretty much in it closer to the sell zone. This is the sell zone than the buy zone for me. Yeah, for sure. So we'll see how CPI data will be tomorrow, and as well as if we do get more weakness in the financial sectors or not, And there was debt ceilings talk today, and we had some red candles, but it's always like this, and it's no big deal. Like 99.9% chance they are going to raise the debt ceiling. They're just not going to let the country default on their debt. That would be a bigger issue than your stock position. So if that happens, yeah, that would not be fun for a lot of people. And let's take a look at Nvidia as well. Nvidia and just loves going up every day, and funny enough, it did reject from this rising wedge that we were talking about yesterday, and we actually got our rejection from exactly the spot. And surprisingly, Nvidia was a lot weaker than QQQ today. You can see it came down at 2%, and for QQQ is only down 0.6%. So I'm still in a position of XOXX, which is the semiconductor leverage 3x ETF short position. So I want to see Nvidia start to weaken personally, because that Nvidia is 10%, roughly 9% of the holdings in the semiconductor ETFs. So Nvidia starts to weaken, AMD starts to weaken, then my short position obviously goes up. And so yeah, I'm looking for this rising wedge to break as well. I was talking about yesterday how that there was not enough price action to determine if it was a clear rejection from the upper of that falling wedge, so a rising wedge over here, because we rejected 5 times into the close, but we didn't have enough price action to see how far we pull back, and it was market already closed. And this morning we actually came down underneath this prior resistance. I was talking about how saying we need to bounce off of this area to continue. Otherwise, it would be a clear rejection. And we actually opened. The first 5, I was looking at Nvidia, actually the first 5 minutes when it opened, we actually popped up right into this resistance. The first just couple minutes, it just shot up. And then once we hit that, next thing we know, it just becomes relatively weakness. Because how relative weakness and relative strength works is when it hits resistance, you usually a relative strong stock can turn into a relative weak stock compared to the market. That's essentially what happens. While QQQ was going down, Nvidia actually went up in the first 5 minutes, hits its resistance, then it went weaker. And it became weaker than QQQ. So if that relative weakness continues, I want to see us breaking today's low. You can see how many times we held it. Even after hours, we held it as well. And if we do break that today's low, I am going to be looking at back to this area. This would be my key area. So back to this this zone of cluster of volume traded here. So the first thing it's going to be testing is back here around 278. So if we do break today's low, that's where I'll be looking. Obviously, if my whole market has this very CPI data, then that'll be a very good chance that we will test there. If not, we might just test this upper rise support from the rising wedge, this area. So we'll see. Honestly, it's a 50-50 dice roll for me for tomorrow, because nobody knows exactly what CPI is going to come in. I mean, somebody probably do know, but we don't. So we will see tomorrow morning at 5:30 PST AM, and I'll update you guys tomorrow. And if you made it this far, feel free to subscribe. If you guys got any questions or comments, feel free to comment below, and or things that you guys want to see more based on the market, just let me know. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day.